Oh no. Here we go again. Apex Legends Cyberpunk collaboration is being compared to collaborations from other games, especially those made by Eastern studios. Many players say the skins don't look faithful to the original character designs and feel like a downgrade compared to other Cyberpunk crossovers. Some fans are also disappointed that iconic characters like Adam Smasher and Johnny Silverhand were not included in the collaboration. So we can see the comparisons there. The Eastern devs on the right, on the east, and the Western devs on the left, on the west side there, from this recent collaboration. Now, the reason I say here we go again is because this reminded me of a collaboration, dude. 2022. It was freaking almost 4 years ago. Okay, pause. Existential dread moment. But yeah, excuse me. Like I was saying, apparently it was back in 2022 already when this collaboration occurred with Nier Automata and 2B in Rainbow Six Siege, and people were talking about 2B, and they're like, "What did you do to our girl?" Well, at least it can't get any worse. Let's watch the official trailer from this, then we'll get back to the current news with this Cyberpunk collaboration in Apex. Okay, yeah, that's enough of that. Let's check out the comments. The Netflix adaptation. That's a full-blown dude cosplaying as 2B. That's Leon Kennedy in a dress. Every time I see Ubisoft touching something, I always say, it can't be worse. Yeah, I've always been wrong. That's what I was saying to him. Like, it can't get any worse. But to be fair, I was saying it facetiously. Obviously, it can. And we're not even done yet. Let's move on. Oh, what is that? Meet Gigachin Rebecca from the Apex Legends Cyberpunk collaboration. The absolute state of Western developers. Gigachin Rebecca's crazy. How about Adam Smasher Lucy cosplay? Yeah, you know what? Maybe going on the internet was a mistake today. If I could have a do-over, I would. Well, I do need content, I guess. Whatever. Bro, why would they ever give her this expression? Like, what's going on with her face? This is like one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. Like, just why? Why would you do this? Even if they wanted to give her, like, a serious expression, like, oh, you better not mess with me or my friends. I mean, they could do that without this. You know what I mean? Just odd choice. Madam Savvy chiming in. Let's see what she has to say on this one. Quote, it's supposed to be the character's cosplaying. That's why the faces gets cut off, unquote. She says, cool, it looks horrible, and they should try caring more. Weird how entire models are made for other short-notice collabs, but all they could do here was cheap clay-looking clothing? Quote, okay, but not every cut off again, unquote. No, it's really easy to translate anime into semi-realism, just shave the jaw a bit. Oh, what's wrong, American AAA dev? Don't you know how? On the flip side, some are defending this collaboration, writing things like, it's clear that none of you understand what quote-unquote collab is. You're comparing stuff that incomparable. You're comparing new models that CN devs made versus costumes that they done for decades. And you're telling them is to remodel them to a point they don't look like the existing characters. Okay, so what? So what? They won't look like the existing characters. Okay, and why is that a problem? It's a collab. Like, why not put more effort into it? But you know, for argument's sake, I'll say sure. I understand that could be way more effort than these devs want to do. They don't want to make full new models for the collaboration. And to an extent, that's actually fair. So I won't even really like entirely disagree with that premise. Here's my point. My point is, if the argument is, well, these characters already look like that, then I just have to wonder, why? Why are they making all their women look like this? Why is that like the standard female face? Like, why do they have to be, to put it as respectfully as I possibly can, why do they intentionally pick a design choice where it's like the women just look very off? Again, as respectfully as I can put it, they look off. Something's off with this. And the response from the corporate defenders is always the same thing when you point out how Western devs continually do this to female characters. They say, oh, you're just a gooner. You're just a gooner. And it's like, dude, talk about a self-report. Talk about projection. I'm here having a nuanced discussion about character design. There's nothing gooner about that. But these people, they can't actually engage with that discussion at all, so they resort to calling people gooners and saying, just watch Prawn. So you can only then reasonably conclude that people that say that are intellectually incapable of engaging with a nuanced discussion in this manner, so they run away from it like that. And or they're the ones who are so gooner minded that they can't even see a topic related to character design without making it, sexual and accusing other people of doing what they're actually doing internally via their own projection outwardly. And it's like, okay, look, I get it. You want to defend the Western AAA devs and the Western companies for doing this to women for whatever reason. They want to defend that stuff, but they're like nervous to admit it. So they, in a roundabout way, try to just call other people gooners as they defend it. It's a very weird, pathetic thing, but you see that time and time again when stuff like this comes up. Let's check out what the Cyberpunk Edgerunners subreddit is talking about this collab. And we've also got an example of David Martinez there on the left, which, interestingly enough, as a top response points out, Lucy looks manlier than David, though. Yeah, what's going on with that? I don't know, but take a look at that for a few more seconds and we'll go check out the other top responses. And here we go. So we got Lucy looks like they gave a random dude her body and hairstyle. It's not just me, right? Response reading, definitely not just you. Showing a picture here where on Twitter people were comparing, Lucy to Canon Lucy. Canon Lucy gif saying, I'm sorry. In post-production, I think I may have said that too quickly. My apologies. I was saying Canon Lucy. It kind of sounded like I said Canna Lucy. Canon Lucy. All right, continuing. David literally looks like the shawarma meme. Lol, they all ugly as hell. This guy held nothing back. Just they all ugly as hell. No, I might have gotten suckered into playing WUWA, but this ain't working. Even non-WUWA players are finding it hideous. Lol. What do they do to my girl? No. Awful. Just absolutely disgustingly awful. There are ways to do a collab, like with the accurate models from Wuthering Waves and maybe canon extra content. And then there's this. Wait, this isn't just a poorly executed mod? No, it's an official collab which was announced. This collaboration deserves a circle in hell. Sheesh. To be honest, any Edgerunners collabs after the WUWA collab are going to be scrutinized heavily for quality and faithfulness. This Apex collab is being rightfully scrutinized because who the hell even are these people? And then a discussion similar to what we talked about earlier. For example, this user says, I think they might be some select Apex heroes that are given costumes to look like David, Rebecca, and Lucy. I don't think they're supposed to actually be the characters. Rainbow Six Siege did the same thing with Ghost in the Shell and Resident Evil. Response reading, quality still matters regardless. The other user then responding and saying, well, given that the characters still have to look recognizably like themselves, it's not surprising it's jarring to see. They're dressed like Cyberpunk characters, but have the body shapes and facial structures of their own base characters. Besides, translating anime characters to game models with realistic graphics does not usually work in the first place, mainly because anime is heavily stylized to begin with. A good example is the Persona collab in COD Mobile. Sure, you can tell they're supposed to be the Phantom Thieves, but since COD has a more grounded and realistic art style, the Phantom Thieves all look uncanny. With that other user then leaving the final response that reads, I'm not saying the style has to mimic the anime look. I completely understand and I'm already aware that it's unattainable in certain graphical styles. What I mean is that this is low effort. I mean, Lucy literally looks like a man. They really couldn't feminize her features even a little bit. Those sort of things are what I'm referring to when I say quality still matters. And like I said earlier as well, it then takes you to the next part of the argument, which is, well, why are they making their characters look like this? Why are they making their female characters look like this to begin with? Which, as we discussed, is something certain people really never want to even talk about and pretend like it isn't happening. And one more quick response here to close out. As a non-Apex player, that is absolutely comical and horrifying. If WUWA can keep the tattoo accurate, why can't Apex? And for anyone curious, here's an example of Lucy and Rebecca from the aforementioned WUWA collaboration. There you go. And people are really loving this, even for other reasons than simply the character designs, which I'll give you an example of right now. As this post from Wuthering Waves Guide reads, Cyberpunk collab is actually insane. I downloaded the game just for this collab, and I played the story for Cyberpunk for the past 4 hours, and I just wanted to say how brilliant it was, honestly. This did not feel like a money grab collab at all, and honestly gave a lot of closure to the story. The amount of dedication that went to this collab is actually insane. I was going to stop playing after finishing the collab, but now I have second thoughts. Never would have thought this game would bring back so much emotions in me about Cyberpunk. With the top response that's a little bit more critical, reading, I think that the general impression everyone has is that the models and the story are absurdly well done, while the monetization aspects are kinda bad. Response reading, well, it is a gacha game. Unfortunately, that's just how things are in the genre, though I hope Kuro does better in the future. And that's the latest. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one.